Let's go to Zach in SLC, Utah. What's up, Zach?
Hey, John. Thanks for having me on the show.
You got it, man. What's going on, dude?
Hey, so my 12-year-old son was physically assaulted at school last week.
Oh.
It's brought to light some separate bullying issues, which we've struggled with. Hoping with your background in education and mental health that you've got some tools and wisdom to offer, because mine don't seem to be working.
Oh, man. Okay, so what happened at school with the assault? Did you get in a fist fight? What happened?
They were just playing basketball. Some kid got upset about him shooting from the side of the key instead of the back of it or the front of it. He just got all up in his face, and the teacher came and got him and separated him. As they were walking away, my son had turned around, and the kid bolted from the teacher, came up and cold talked to my son a couple times.
Okay.
Just kind of out of nowhere.
So what happened well, none of that comes out of nowhere. It may have been out of nowhere for that situation. What happened to your son? I mean, to your son, what happened to that young man? Is the young man out of school?
So school didn't even call me. A kid in the school called my son's mother, who we're divorced from. She called me. I went up to the school and kind of stormed into the assistant principal's office and got some answers. But basically, they short suspension and they don't care. I insisted that the kid be moved out of that class. I don't know if I'm overreacting. Yeah, you tell me. I think that.
Well, there's a couple things. One, I don't like the fact that your kid got hit in the face and the school didn't call you. That's absurd. That's obnoxious and absurd. They're always schools everywhere talking about parent participation in the kid's life. And that's not just when it comes to math homework. That also means in the good stuff and the tough stuff. Clearly, this other young man's got stuff going on. Is there a possibility, and before I get into it, I'm not ever excusing another kid hitting another kid in the face, okay? It's obnoxious, it's stupid, it doesn't how we solve problems. But it does happen, okay? Is there a chance that your son participated in this? Meaning, was he popping off at the mouth? Was he mouthing off? Is there stuff that you can talk to your kid about? Or is he are these consequences of something that he may have participated in? Whether they're right consequences or not, are they consequences? Or is he victim of a senseless act of teenage bullying here?
You know, he's I'm not saying he's perfect or anything, but he's not the kind of kid to go popping off or anything like that.
Okay.
But his whole, our entire school existence, we've struggled with people he's just like a magnet to being jerked around. In fact, we changed schools the start of this year because of that, to hoping for kind of a fresh start. Kids had kind of pegged him as some things, and we were hoping for a change. And I guess that's the underlying issue. It's just a theme, and I don't know how to address it.
Being objective, and I know this is hard because it's your son. And here, let me tell you where I'm headed here, and then it's going to sound like I'm coming after you, and I'm not, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at a situation and there's multiple environments and multiple groups of people, and there's one common denominator, I'm asking you, is there anything objective that you can say your son this is why? Does he have special needs? Does he have fill in the blank? Is he contributing? Like, what is it there? I experienced that growing up. My sons experienced that growing up. And there's some things that just aren't fair in the world. And there's some idiots out there in the world. And there's some stuff that we were doing that was contributing to it. So is just looking objectively at your son from arm's length, is there anything that he's contributing to this?
You know, the only thing that comes to mind, I guess, is the one thing I kind of struggle to connect with him on is he's just like super extroverted and different for me in that regard. He's kind of loud and in like not an aggressive way, but he's just a lot, I guess, is the way that I've heard you put it before.
He said, "So I know this kid, and he is me." So yes. If it makes you feel any better, he's got a bright future. Maybe he too can be a YouTuber someday. And wow, look how it's working out for me. So here's there's a couple of big metas here, okay? Number one, I would circle back when you're not, and that might be now. There is I'm storming into the principal's office to find out if my kid is safe. And it's obnoxious and it's disrespectful that they didn't call you. Both for him, that they're just going to send him home with that level of trauma and without you knowing it. That's just bad pedagogy. That's bad child care. And that they didn't participate, they didn't bring you along to say, hey, your kid's been hurt. Here's some things that we want to work on with your family, with other family, everything. That's number one. So you have that right and responsibility. And you have that moment when you charge in. Now that the smoke is cleared on that incident, I would love for you to circle back with the school counselor, with the school principal, and say, what am I missing here? We've moved schools. There's got to be something here that my son's contributing or that is making it to where other people don't like him, that I want to be able to coach him on, teach him on, or take that posture, and you may learn some things. They may say, yeah, your kid actually, you wouldn't ever think it, but he's pretty handsy. He gets real excited about things, and he's always bumping into people and putting his hands on people. And for some kids, that's a threat. Or he talks a lot of trash on the basketball court, or whatever the thing is. And it may be none of this, but I'm going to do my due diligence as a dad. Am I contributing to this in any shape, form, or fashion? As my son. The second thing is, and this is going to sound backwards, and I don't want all of the internet warriors to come after me on this, but your son needs to have some sort of discipline in his life, preferably through whether it's taking jiu-jitsu classes, whether it's taking some sort of, does he play any sort of after-school sports?
Well, he did boxing for a few years.
Okay.
But then we got worried about TBI stuff, and so we stopped that.
Great. So I would transition him to, both of my kids will start jiu-jitsu soon. I'll put it that way. This is something I'm doing in my own house. Here's why. Number one, it teaches them discipline, and it teaches them when to and how to. It also teaches them to identify when a threat is actually a threat and when somebody's being a knucklehead. And it teaches them, oh, this is what could happen. And I was a hot-headed, loudmouth idiot until I started taking jiu-jitsu classes, until I started training with a professional MMA team. And dude, it changed my life. And it changed my life and made me infinitely less of a hothead. I don't even consider getting in fights anymore. Not because I can't handle myself, because they're stupid and a waste of my time. They're an absolute waste of my life, right? And if one comes to me, I'll be okay. You know what I mean? But there's a level of confidence that it sounds counterintuitive. I don't want to teach somebody how to fight to avoid fights. There is something about teaching a young person, whether my daughter and my son are both going to do this. They learn strength, they learn resilience, they learn toughness, they learn discipline, and they learn how to walk away or how to back out of a situation. How to go, all right, cool, man. And they laugh and they know it's not a threat to my ego, to their self-esteem, whatever, because their ego and self-esteem and honor are in other places. The third thing is I would get really clear about forgiving yourself about this, because I can hear it on you. How much, am I wrong?
He's been through some stuff. He's a pretty resilient kid, but his life hasn't been perfect.
No, but you're hanging on to some stuff.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly where to go with that, but yeah, I'm sure there's some stuff I could figure out.
If your kid's getting bullied, it's not your fault, man. And I know you don't believe me. You don't. I know that. And your kid got hit in the mouth. You asked yourself, what should I have done? What could I have done? Whatever. I'm telling you, man, it sounds like your kid ran into a hothead. When you say you experienced bullying in other places, back up. What other it brought to light bullying? What other bullying is he experiencing?
Yeah, so he pointed out that we were leaving the school, and he pointed out a kid, and he mentioned that kid had been a jerk to him. Asked for more details, and he said, he'll walk up to him in the halls and kick him or punch him or whatnot.
Yeah.
And
so
for example,
go ahead.
So earlier in that same class period, that same kid, and in that conversation, this was a few days before he got cold talked by a basketball player. He told me that, and I said, well, you got to tell someone, you got to do something about it. You can't just deal with it. And so that period, that same kid punched him once. He said, you need to stop. He punched him in the back again. He said, you need to stop. He did it again. So he went and told the teacher. Teacher pulled him aside and talked to him. It seemed like an insufficient response to me, and it just pisses me off that a kid gets talked to for repeatedly punching it. I don't know. I just
yeah,
still so out of control.
Have you talked to the teacher about it?
I talked to the principal.
Yeah,
he basically told me that kid has a history of things like that, and that they're working with counselors, and that's it. I mean, there's nothing more going on to distance him from my son or do anything like that.
So what I would suggest is having a gentle, kind, but passionate conversation in a non-threatening way, but let them know, I will bring legal action upon this school if my kid gets hit one more time. We have put you on notice that these particular children are hitting my child and making my child unsafe at school. If my child's contributing in any way, let me know. If he's talking trash, if he's pushing first, if he's bouncing around into other people, whatever, you let me know. But
okay.
You are on notice now. And if somebody else hits my child, I'm going to hold the school liable because we've told you and you're not doing anything about it. And you say that in a gentle, kind way. And probably what they will say is, we can't continue this conversation anymore because you've threatened legal action. And you say, great. Let me talk to the general counsel of the district.
Okay. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess that's where the guilt comes in. It just feels like, yeah.
And I do identify with your son saying, I'm telling the adults in my life, the teachers in my life, and they're not doing anything about this. That's a scary place for a child to be. And the children deserve to go to school and feel safe.
Okay.
And so this is a 3-prong approach here. Actually, a 4-prong approach. How often, I'm going to ask you a hard question. How often do you hug your kid?
Like daily.
Good. Keep doing that. Let him feel, not hear, let him feel that you love him. Okay?
Yeah.
The second thing is, has he seen any sort of counseling or anything since the divorce?
Yeah, a little bit.
How's that going?
I don't think he got a whole lot from it.
Okay. Maybe y'all two go together and say, we're going to commit to healing. You've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. We're going to go together. I don't even know what that looks like, but what I'm trying to say is he needs a model for taking care of yourself. And he doesn't have that. And that starts with you. The third thing is get him in some sort of jiu-jitsu class, physical activity class, gymnastics class, a class where he can use his body, where he can grow and develop self-confidence and discipline and teamwork and learn, oh, wow, this is how this ends. And that teaches him 1,000 ways, how to walk away, how to back out, how to be confident, how to stand up with a teacher and say, this can't, right? How to take care of himself. And number 4, be very direct and intentional with the school when it comes to your child's safety. Okay. Give that a shot, man. And man,
how do I have that conversation trying to dig in and see what he's doing without saying this is your fault?
You have that conversation with the school and with the teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, you have that with the school and with the teacher. And a good skilled counselor that the two of y'all are going together. And you tell him, I want to learn how to be the best dad I can. And so we're going to go talk to this professional. And I want to be the best dad ever. and maybe you didn't have the best dad model for you, or you have done some things or said something, you want to be better at it, and so you let him know, hey, I want you to come with me to these things. I'm gonna be learning some new things. You're gonna be learning some new things. We're gonna do this together. But you model it for him. And a good counselor would say, oh, what if we said this instead of that, right? So they'll help with that. That it's not pointing at, what are you doing? What are you contributing to this? But I think a good conversation with the principal and the counselor and his teachers will say, this is how we experience your kid. And that's hard because nobody wants to say, my kid's being bullied and it's on me, or my kid's contributing to this, because it's never okay to punch a kid in the face. Don't hear me say that at all in any shape, form, or fashion. It's never okay. And that 12-year-old's a child. The one that hit your kid is a child too. And so there's an interaction going on between children, and I want to teach my son, A, how to stand up for himself, how to take care of himself, how to walk away with dignity, and how to not get himself in some of these situations. And if it's happening over and over and over and over again, it could be your kid's got special needs. It could be your kid is just different. He's tall, he's short, fill in the blank, and kids are just ruthless and mean. And that's where they need adults in their life to step in and say, I'm going to help keep you safe. This is how we treat each other. This is how we talk. And if the school tells me, oh, yeah, that's just one of our violent kids, we're working with them. Not on my kid, you're not. Absolutely, that violent kid isn't going to practice being less violent on my kid. That's the school's responsibility to lean in and keep all of their kids safe, that kid included, and your kid. Whew, it's a mess, brother. It's a mess.